Hello everyone, this is Lolly. Today I want to talk about these little itty bitty tiny pretend pencils that I've made. And you can see by the size of my hand, my inky hands, that these are not very big. And so if you want to see how these are made, stay tuned. Okay, so what you're going to need is some of the round toothpicks. And each one of these will make 2 pencils. So if you want to make 10 10 pencils, then get out 5 toothpicks. I just have a few here. And then what you're going to need is, let's look at a real pencil here. Although this one is blue and not the school yellow. We want a Sharpie marker to color in the lead part. We're going to leave this bare wood on the toothpick bare. From here to here, we're going to paint it. This happens to be Harvest Gold. You can use any kind of golden yellow paint. For the eraser, we're going to use pink. And then when you're done, to make this metal piece, you can use a silver or gold marker pen, or you can use silver paint, gold paint, or, even gray would work around there. So first thing is, let's move this aside, and we want to cut these in half. I'm using my new craft mat today by Eco Pico Art. It was given me to test it out. It is an eco-friendly, recyclable, no odor craft mat. And because I'm going to cut, I like to cut on a separate one as opposed to using this to keep this one as kind of pristine as possible. You'll notice on their craft mats too, by the way, that they have these little corners that show you, if you would put your card or your paper in the bottom left corner, how big it needs to be a letter size, an A4, legal, A5, etc. That's kind of a helpful thing to have. And so what we're going to do is put this on here, and don't use your good craft blade. I'm just going to put it on here and see how long this is. Okay, I'm stretching it out between the 8 and the 10. So it looks even on both sides, and I'm going to put this right there, and I'm just going to roll it back and forth until pushing down until it snaps. Sometimes you have a little bit of fraying here, so you just want to take a little bit of sandpaper, and if you really want it rounded instead of squared off for your eraser, that would be fine too. Okay, and even with cutting this, I'm still not smelling any odor. So I loved it fresh out of the package. It didn't have any odor. So I'm going to do 2 of these, and I'm going to show you as I go. First thing we're going to do is just take the Sharpie and color in our fake lead. Roll it around. I put the white paper under me so that you could see what I was doing, because I figured you might not see it on this dark cutting mat. Let me get something to hold my paints. It doesn't take much at all. I mean, a drop is all you're going to need. And let's get that pink out there too. And then I think I'm going to zoom in. Already I can see this is a lot of paint. I'm going to zoom in here so you can see. Okay. I think all my fine point paintbrushes are in use. So let's use this, kind of roll it around in here. I'm going to do this eraser, and I'm not giving you an exact measurement because I don't really measure, but it doesn't need to be too big. And then make sure you get that tip right there. Let that dry. Let's grab the next one. And this edge here, that edge right there, doesn't have to be completely perfectly straight around because we're going to correct that with the silver marker. So while I have this paint, I think I'm going to go ahead and make some more of these. But in the meantime, I do want to do the gold part here. So let's get another paintbrush. And again, all my fine point ones are upstairs. There we go. Here's one here. I'm going to use this one because I think it gives me a straighter edge. So I'm going to hold the little tip here, and you can see on your paper clip, it's slanted and then it goes across like this, just like a regular pencil. The part that's slanted, I'm not going to paint. I'm going to paint from here to there on my toothpick. So I'm holding, and it doesn't have to be perfect on the left either because it isn't on a regular pencil, because every time you sharpen a pencil, it gets an irregular line of this gold. I'm going to go up to or really close to the pink. I'm not actually going to touch it because I know I'm going to go around with a silver marker. And just put that on something like plastic or something so it won't interfere or won't blend, stick to your paper. That's what I'm looking for. And I have found that I really don't even need 2 coats. One is fine, and the toothpick, it's so absorbent that this dries pretty quickly. I am just making sure that I got full coverage though. And I think I need to go a little lower. If you wanted to, you could spray a shiny coat on it or do a Mod Podge shiny. Yeah, this one needs to go down farther. If you do the shiny coat over a shiny Mod Podge coat over this part here, this color, it would really look like a pencil. Like this has sort of a clear coat on it. That would be really cool. Okay, so I have these two. While those are drying up, I'm going to go ahead and do some more because I'm going to teach a class and I'm using these as embellishments. So let me get my other mat out again. Okay, so if you don't like doing the two different colors at the same time and you're afraid you're not going to be able to paint this well without being clumsy, one of the things you can do is just paint this all the way up. It really is a lot easier. Just go all the way up, leaving that bare part to the left, go all the way to the top. Let that dry, and then you can come back and do the pink for the eraser. That makes it a lot easier. Okay, now I'm going to dry my paintbrushes off, clean them off, I mean, and we will be right back. Okay, so let's come back out here. So I have these all sitting there, but they've been drying, and I have this. It's a Marvy Deco Color Premium, and I used the silver and I used the gold for various things. I think I'm going to use the silver this time. You have to shake it up. It's like paint in there, and there's a ball to mix it. Okay, open it carefully because if it's really full, it can splatter. And I usually test it, and to prime it, you just push down on your paper. So you see it starts to come out a little faster. There we go. Now I see it puddling. Now I know it's ready. It's a little too much probably. So I'm just going to hold the pencil and get it a little silver band across there, and then I'm going to set it here to dry so the silver part is not touching the plastic. And if it stops working or stops being juicy, all you have to do is prime it again by pushing down. So those of you who are making mini items like memory decks cards is what I'm using these for. And you don't want to touch this silver. Set it aside to dry. I don't know how long it takes, but about half an hour it should be okay. And if you do touch it, all you have to do is go over it again. Now, it hardly took any of the marker to do that because I just kept dipping it into the puddle that I had already created. If you have a project that you're working on and you'd like to use up more of this, you just go around the edge like that. Eventually you could create an indentation here, so be careful. Okay, so let's just wipe off some of that extra there, and I store these point up. Okay, let's zoom in now. You can see my pencils in the tray. Aren't they cute? They are so adorable. So mostly I've used these for memory decks cards, but any kind of small embellishment you're looking for, they would be good on paperclip art. And I hope that inspires you to try something little itty bitty tiny.